Hey Raider Nation, Joseph here for Zenny62. Just following up with my training camp preview. We just had the first press conference of the 2021 season training camp with Jon Gruden. Some interesting things that I pulled out. It was basically your typical press conference, nothing exciting. Talking about the hopes and dreams of what 2021 would be. Now, from the get-go, that question that I've been harping on, and people don't like to discuss it, is the vaccination rates. That was the first question out of the box. Again, he reiterated the fact that himself, as well as all of the coaching staff, is vaccinated. He went on a little bit more in detail, didn't talk about who wasn't, but roughly about 4 or 5 players, according to him, aren't vaccinated. And throughout the press conference, it kept reiterating, oh, I respect their opinions. You know, I know that's kind of the PC thing to say nowadays, and you do want to respect people's opinions, but do you really respect somebody who could potentially harm someone else and give them a deadly virus and the refusal not to get it based upon Facebook threads and non-science and non-medical advice? You know, I don't know if I'm so eager, me personally, to say I respect their opinions, because to me, those opinions don't hold weight. That's just my opinion when it comes to the facts. Having said that, moving on from that, an interesting thing that got brought up was the fact that he has high hopes again for Clelin Ferrell. He brought up Clelin Ferrell. In my draft preview, I brought up Clelin Ferrell. The other person that he brought up that speculatively throughout the OTAs and leading up to training camp was the rumors that the Raiders already stopped thinking or had any interest with Damon Arnette. Now, with this press conference, it seemed like the opposite is true. He really talked about how Arnette got COVID and kind of implied that he got COVID twice. He had a broken thumb, but he, according to him, and I'm just surmising what he said, or summarizing, I should say, is that he has the intangibles that Jon Gruden is looking for. He has the physical ability and the talent, and made reference that he thinks that Damon Arnette and Mullen would be a great team moving forward. So that was interesting, an interesting take, and my reaction from that was because nobody has been thinking about Damon Arnette and whether or not he was a bust. And I think Jon Gruden has some hopes that with Gus Bradley coming in, which he even reiterated the fact that he's excited about Gus Bradley's here, and he feels that he brings in a different outlook and maybe flavor to the team. And of course, we added additional players like Yannick Ngakoue, who he's high hopes on, including some of the veteran signings like Solomon Thomas, Quentin Jefferson. Whether or not they're being impactful players, I'm not sure, but the fact that they do have a pedigree of being decent, if not very good players in the past, the hope is Gus Bradley brings out the best in them. So those are the few takes that I took away from the press conference. It was interesting to see Jon Gruden. He doesn't seem as enthusiastic as he has been in the past. That could be just an age thing. He's getting older. He's not as fiery as he used to be, but it was good to see him out there talking with the crowd. And again, it's more than one time they brought up the potentiality of, you know, losing games or forfeiting games because of the NFL new policy with regards to the vaccines. But moving forward, let's hope that that's not an issue for the Raiders. Let's hope that this new defense scheme that's being brought in by Gus Bradley will be effective. And let's hope players like Henry Ruggs continues to step up to the plate. The one thing I didn't know was Henry Ruggs actually did have COVID. I don't know if that was disclosed. For some reason, I don't recall that being an issue or being talked about last year. We know that he was hurt after the first game when they played, I think it was Carolina Panthers. So there's still high hopes for Henry Ruggs, whether or not we trade. I know there's rumors about Davante Adams, but that's going to be a high price to get Davante Adams, even for a trade moving into his last year of his contract. So if anything happens with Davante, I think that potentially might happen next year. Let's see what happens in the next few days. Let's see what comes out of the training camp. Keep it here on Zenny62, and don't forget to like and subscribe.